what's going on? Pat McLaughlin here from Snare Drum TV.com. This is episode number 27. In this episode, I'm going to show you the triplet grid with flams on the downbeats. Okay, so if you haven't watched episode 25 yet, where we learned what the triplet grid is, go ahead and click here. Watch that really quick. You can learn that exercise and then come back here and check out how to put the flams on the downbeats. Alright? So if you want free Snare Drum sheet music for this, go ahead and go over to snaredrumtv.com if you're not there already. Find episode 27. Underneath that video there's a big button that you can click on and it'll take you straight to the free Snare Drum sheet music. You can pull it up and read along as you learn it. It's really convenient. Alright? So let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, it's the triplet grid with flams on the downbeats, right? So essentially it's the same exact exercise as the straight up triplet grid that you learned in episode 25, but we're going to put flams on all of the downbeats, okay? Now there's a big thing you got to keep in mind here, and that is the three heights that apply throughout this entire exercise, okay? And the three heights are the accents, the taps, and the grace notes for the flams. Right? So you got to be concerned and really focus on making sure that those three heights are consistently happening when they need to be, so that the entire exercise doesn't become a complete wash of just, you know, a monotone volume or height with no definition. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. The first measure is going to be straight up flam accents. Okay? They're going to be triplets with accents on the downbeats and flams on them. Alright? And that's going to sound like this. So that's the first measure. The second measure, when we shift the accent to the second partial of the triplet, the flam remains on the downbeat. So that means it's going to be a low flam. The primary note is going to be a tap, all right? While the accent is still on the second partial. So the second measure will sound like this. All right? And the third measure, the accent shifts again to the last partial of the triplet, but the flam still remains on the downbeat, so it's still a low flam, which will sound like this. Alright, and that takes us through the entire four section. So I'm going to go ahead and play the entire four section for you, just so you can get an idea as to what that sounds like all together. Okay, so that's the first section. For the two section, you just take that and you cut it in half. You do two of each and you repeat it, just as in the triplet grid. So I'm going to go ahead and play the entire two section for you now. And finally, in the last section, the ones, you play one of each. Now it's important to note here that the hand that is starting the series plays all of the accents. So for example, the first time we play through the series, the right hand plays through all the accents, okay? But the flams still alternate on every beat. The second time you go through the series, the left hand plays all the accents. So I'm going to break this up for you. In just the first series, I'm going to start with the right hand. We have this. Notice how all of the accents are on the right hand, but the flams still alternate from right to left on every downbeat. So that's something a little tricky that you got to get your mind used to, okay? And in the second series, when we start off the left hand, all of the accents are off the left hand, but the flams still alternate. Alright? So basically you just do that sequence 4 times, it alternates hands, and I'm going to go ahead and play that last section for you. Alright, so that's the last section. I'm going to go ahead and play this entire exercise. We're going to do it 80 beats per minute if you want to join in. Again, this is all the way through. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. So that's the exercise. It's pretty straightforward if you understand what the triplet grid is. So like I said, if you haven't watched that video yet, go learn the triplet grid by itself first, then come back and attack this guy. And it's a whole lot of just repetition. Slow repetition is your biggest friend with this exercise, because you're going to be making some motions with your hands that you probably haven't done a whole lot of before. Going from some of the grace note to accent stuff can be a little weird the first time. So make sure that you're really focusing on those things. Slow it down and focus on making sure that the flams are alternating hands every single beat with the triplet as you shift the accents. Okay? So there's a lot of conceptual stuff to work on here, as well as technical and physical aspects that you need to watch out for and improve as you learn and practice this exercise. So it's a great one for the mind, it's a great one for the hands. I hope you have fun playing it. It can be a little frustrating at times, but take it slow, work it up, and it'll come your way. And once you get it, it's a lot of fun to play. And we'll go over putting the flam on the second and third partials in the future. Okay? So get this down first, and then we'll move on to that. And yeah, that's it. Have fun with it. If you like this episode, please send it to a friend via Twitter or email or Facebook or whatever you want to do. I'd really appreciate it if you help spread the word of Snare Drum TV. And as always, have fun with this, and I will see you next time on Snare Drum TV.